we've got to the part of the book where a violent gang of more raiders invade Calton. This time, the aggression isn't micro, and just as Jake begins to fight back, he finds that his love interest is also a baddie, and one who's already been in the story by a different name. Bizarrely, the explanation is that she really is Natalie Burke, the criminology professor, and Lucy is just her terrorist nickname that she uses in case she's ever in a novel that needs a twist. Hi, I'm Colin Surname, and this is Trigger Warning. Gotta concede here, the book says that these guys are not Antifa, they're just Matthias and friends, and Natalie was planted to get close to Jake, but not kill him or stop him from interfering, or... It's clear that she's actually fallen for him, I mean, who wouldn't? And is conflicted. It's a shame their romantic arc had to go this way. I was hoping for a sex scene. I wonder what that would be like. With every thrust, Jake knew that he could have shattered her pelvis if he wanted to. He chose not to. Yeah, it'd probably be like that. So, a Mexican standoff, and then the power goes out, and of course Jake reacts instantly and scarpers as Matthias sends his innumerable identikit henchmen after him. I don't know where they're coming from. There's incoherent action scenes as Jake outclasses and kills a few armed men. I've not been showing you the fights because they're kind of boring. I can't present them as decent action. They're clumsily detailed, often pausing to hype up Jake's strength and hyper-awareness, or to rant about the left for a few pages. My favourite shot of this fight is Jake's right fist rocketed up into the man's jaw with enough force to slew his head far around. Fleeing upstairs, Jake encounters a quivering wreck, Mutombo, and quickly takes him on as his sidekick. Mutombo had actually managed to disarm and kill a terrorist. That seemed even more far-fetched to Jake than any book he'd ever read about dragons or wizards or alien invaders. Jake last completed a book in 5th grade. He would almost be more inclined to believe in those things than to accept the idea of Mutombo performing such heroics. That sentence said the same thing as the last one. It repeated its content. It keeps referring to Mutombo with this spelling, by the way. I think the book and Jake don't respect his name identity, and sure, the race thing's bullshit, but let him have his name. Even Jake's technically not using his birth name due to some throwaway backstory about his deadbeat dad. Jake and Mutombo find an unsuspecting henchman, and Jake quickly knocks him out, tears his shirt up, and locks him in a closet. Okay. Jake then leaves Mutombo guarding a floor full of hostages. He asked the rest of them if they had gun experience, but of course not. Calton people had never fired a gun and considered the idea abhorrent. At least until their lives were on the line, which is exactly how gun owners justify it. Pierce was getting antsy. His fellow progressives would always say, "Somebody needs to do something," and then not do anything. Wait, sorry, didn't we have Antifa and Black Lives Matter earlier in this book? And myriad policies against discrimination? Like, I thought the problem was too much activism. The peers of Pierce refuse to join him, so he sneaks away alone. Then he hears, "Stop him, he's trying to get away." And as you'll know from it being one of the 4 voices I can do, this one's Fareed. And Fareed tackles him down. But with the bullet-dodging power of novel convenience, Pierce still escapes to the stairwell to meet Jake. This is the last we hear of Fareed. They don't even say that he got shot tackling Pierce and died. It's a waste of the horrible character they've dreamt up and of my brilliant voice. McCraney in the control center or whatever has a visitor, an old man with the vigor of a much younger man. Between McCraney, Grandpa, the groundskeeper, and now this guy, the books use their admirable hardy old man cookie cutter 4 times. 5 if you count the one they bothered to make black. But who's this guy, and did he have a cowboy-like demeanor? He was in boots and dull-colored clothes. He was probably armed. Dude may as well have entered through saloon doors. Well, I never worried too much about dangerous places. I wouldn't know what to do if I was somewhere not dangerous. The guy didn't seem arrogant or smug, but he had a lot of self-confidence. Yeah, he's a man in a Johnstone book. So he's marched in and suddenly he's involved. Name's Barry Rivera, but you can call me Dog. Okay, Rivera has been foreshadowed. Ages ago, between Jake's 2nd and 60th fight, he went to a shooting range to let off some steam. Bullet steam. And he saw this astounding marksman, couldn't stop thinking about him, and learned his name was Rivera. That very different name, Rivera.
Jake, if you're up there, this is Pierce Connors. You know, the guy who gave you that unedited video?
I think he does everything unedited.
If nobody's up there, then I guess I'm talking to myself, and I feel real stupid. But one way or another, I'm not gonna turn around and go back down there where everybody's been taken prisoner. I'm coming on up, and I really, really hope I don't get shot.
Jake responds quite violently with a headlock to his ally. If I let you go, you're not gonna yell or fight, right? Don't try to do anything. Maybe this is why he doesn't have friends. Pierce continues to over-explain. The book's terrible for this stuff anyway, but it seems to pipe it most clumsily through Pierce. Fate had given Jake some strange allies. A young black liberal and a... Wait, that's strange? And a middle-aged snowflake professor. Jake would have preferred to be on his own. We all wish you were alone. He supposed they were better than nothing. Maybe. So his plan is to head upstairs, floor by floor, and get to the roof. The floors are like video game levels. Stairwells, they go all the way up, don't they? I like the idea that he's sweeping every floor just for the 100% achievement. The die-hard parallels are lampshaded. It seems to be the terrorists' only reference point, perhaps even their inspiration. I don't know if they watched the end of the film, because the bad guy loses. That door won't open. It comes in toward us. Not out, so blocking it wouldn't do any good. I think they must have tied something to the bar and then tied the other end around something that won't move. Jake, you're piercing. We have to get it open, though, so I'm gonna try and budge whatever's holding it shut. These bits try to insist the scenario checks out, but every clause of over-explanation takes it that bit further from sense. And interest. I'm a pretty big, strong guy. How are you? I never fired a gun before. Jake wondered, how did people grow up without mastering a murder device? Jake couldn't begin to comprehend, though comprehension wasn't really one of his strong points. They're shooting the door open or something, and it works. Okay, so we've got 58 pages left, and the blurb said Jake needs to enlist his classmates to school these special snowflakes in the not-so-liberal art of war. It's not happened, and that's a bit of a letdown. They set up this comedy study group. The feminist, the burnout, the virgin, the loathsome Muslim, and the golden kid. There's a clear structure there for a slapdash task force for Jake to drill sergeant. Fareed would betray them, Marjorie would fuck up, but the others would make good and learn from Master Jake and vote Trump. But he's just got Mutombo and Pierce, who will be meekly cooperative and bravely cooperative. We've also not heard from President Peltier since before the raid. They missed a trick not putting him in the planning room to frustrate McCraney, or just putting him where Mutombo is. He and Mutombo are basically the same character anyway, but Peltier in this position would have to acquiesce more. So the final chunk of this book gets real dense, and I'll show you next time.
At the start of part 6, Colin is describing a scene from page 265, whilst clearly holding the book at around page 200.
Ding.